income. The city pays the electricity, maintenance, improvements, as well as uses the city equipment and personnel for maintenance, and ASA profits from these taxpayer expenditures. So that would be my first question.
The first question is, you're all wrong in your figures, and as far as expenses, the umpire bill is usually about just a little bit better than 50% of the income, because umpires are $75 a game. So if you multiply that times 200 games, you can see how many thousands of dollars you get in that. The ASA, the Hall of Fame tournament, is field rentals that are paid in various fields throughout the central Susquehanna Valley. There's advertising, there's all kinds of expenses paid on it. The $8,000, there's just under $8,000 that was cleared. That was cleared, and that's all volunteerism. That was donated to the ASA Hall of Fame, correct. As far as money, there's money that the ASA, there's a budget that's turned in every year, the recreation department from the ASA, just like Little League baseball program. That funding, that's all available. That's public information. You're welcome to that. All you have to do is show up at a recreation meeting. They meet the first Wednesday of every month.
So ASA contributes to some of those field expenses, is that correct?
Yeah, they buy like some bases. We buy different. There's different monies that we put back into the ASA. You can ask. There's a group of about 6 or 10 people that run the complex up there as far as doing various things for the tournaments, and stay with the baseball.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Mr. Sachs, let me add to that, since that's my department. Only thing we do is cut the grass, maintain the grass. We do that on a weekly basis. Other than maintaining the fields, the trimming, and if there's a rain prior to, they do all that work. We touch nothing. The things referring to, Diamond Tech is the orange clay we put on.
It's $1,000 a load.
Right. ASA pays for that. They bring it in. Of course, they put it in the fields.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they contribute back to the cause, you might say.
Okay.
Only other expense, if there would be a night game, but normally they have mostly all day games because the scheduling and so forth, because how many games they play in a tournament like that. So, any other questions there?
No, that satisfies those. Second issue is flood protection. I know that the council has approved moving ahead with the Ready Rock project, and that's really quite disappointing to me. And I find that the city could have spent a little over $30,000 to do that repair, according to the FEMA sheets that I've looked at. And even the FEMA grant has provision to recover any cost overrun. Now, I know you, Mr. Eister, had said that you felt that moving ahead with a newer wall would be more productive, that you've been having to repair that wall every 10 years or so. Almost $300,000, I believe it's $270,000 is where you're at right now with it.
Well, it's an estimate from the engineer. There's we didn't go out for bids yet, let's put it that way.
Yes, that's why I'm bringing it up now, hoping that you may possibly review your thinking on this. Number one, to spend roughly $270,000 and penalize the taxpayers with money the city doesn't presently have with interest. When you can repair that wall with a $30,000 grant, there is provision for cost overrun recovery beyond that amount. And Woodcourt Horn, the engineering firm that the city hired, has stated that those repairs could be done for $30,500 and some odd dollars. So I would encourage you to possibly reconsider what you're looking at, because even assuming that a repair would be required every 10 years, it would take you 100 years to spend almost what you're going to spend. So the other point that I have concerning that wall is that even if you do the new wall, there are no guarantees. The old wall was damaged by some pipe blowouts. The engineering report talks about having to plug those pipes. So I think it would be a cost-effective thing for the city to consider using that grant, repairing that wall, plugging those pipes, and seeing what it does over the next 10 years. You will save a great deal of money, and according to all of the figures I've seen, it would be the most cost-effective and wise thing. So I would encourage you to try to revisit that issue.
Okay, can I add to this now?
Sure.
Okay. First of all, those pipes that they referred to in the report, when the feds are in and reviewed that and gave the 30,000. Not all that was taken into consideration, number one. Number two, that area, some of that area was repaired in 97, I think it was, from, I'm not sure which flood it was, okay? Municipal Authority, which maintains and controls the flood wall itself, which this WP wall protects the banking between the two. They feel so strongly about it, they have already put $100,000 towards the project because they also want to make sure it's protected for the future, instead of coming back every couple of years or every 10 years, like you had mentioned, and repairing the wall, okay? The feds have stepped up to 55,000, I'm guessing I'm 54 something, I think it is now. They went from 30, now they're, let's say 55, round the numbers on. So now we're up to 155, and the rest of the city has to incur. I'm hopeful it's coming in lower than we expected, and because it was just an estimate. I always, when I ask for an estimate, I always say figure the high side. It's a lot easier coming back and saying we have money left over than we're short. So that's where we stand.
Well, again, I would hope that you might revisit.
Well, thank you for your concern, but
I understand.
okay.
And my last issue is, obviously, as you have heard me say many times, the Celtex site. That site now is generating further problems for particularly people in the Cape Town area with the dust that was generated this summer. I've done some reviews up at DEP, taken a look at one in particular is very disturbing. I'll read a portion of it to save time here. Arsenic was detected on the site in 5 of 11 soil samples. These detections exceeded the department's residential direct contact MSC. However, the non-residential direct contact MSC was not exceeded. The selected standard for this compound is the non-essential statewide health standard. The groundwater attainment section indicated the exceedances of volatile organic compounds, benzene, ethylbenzene, naphthalene, 1,2,4 and 1,3,5 trimethyl benzene, semi-volatile organic compounds, benzo, pyrene, fluorothane, and methyl ethyl ethane, and arsenic for both the residential and non-residential medium specific. I won't read any more. What I'm trying to say to you is you had a shipment of wood come in up there. There were so many trucks that one person said to me it looked like it was on fire at night. There was that much dust. Different folks up there told me that their homes had heavy dust on their banisters, in their homes, through their air conditioners. My point to you is that's what those folks in that area of the town and other portions of the town have been breathing when that sort of activity is going on. It not only underscores what I have told this council many times, is that you need to enforce the code. You have code against that dust, against your residents breathing that, and I would hope that you would begin to enforce it. Thank you.
Any questions about anything in particular? Kevin, you have an announcement?
Yeah. Funny people, white people. I'd like to say thanks for all the work you guys do for us in the city here, especially when it comes to National Night Out. And Connie, want to come up here? Mike, you want to come up here? What we have up there, around the 1200 block, what block is that up to? 200 block? 200 block, 12th Street. Yeah, we have an alleyway there. It doesn't really have a name on it. It runs from Race Street to Vine Street. So now I've got some new name. Make sure you know this is the new little, that one block there is going to be Eagle Drive from here on out. So hope this makes you all happy, and we want to say thank you. We appreciate it. National Night Out's been a huge success for everything you guys do, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Mike. All right?
Yeah, we can hang it themselves, we can hang it.
No, we'll take care of it. You just gotta keep it clean, Mike.
You have to hose that down.
My outing is short.
Sweet people's perk, don't have to wait.
Thank you very much for everything. All right, thank you very much, everybody, for coming. This meeting's adjourned.
I'll wait for it.